Hello and welcome to Fantasy Island. I'm your host, Keenan Wright. I'm here with my man, Frank Genera. Today we're going to start the show off by talking about people who really impressed us in Week 4.
All right, so let's get on with it. Week 4, one quarterback that impressed me was same as last week, Tony Romo. Once again, Tony Romo proved that his back illness, his back pain is not a factor, and he's been throwing very good football. He went 22 for 29, threw for 262 yards, and had 3 TDs. And guess what? No interceptions.
Wow. And
he put up 24 good points on fantasy leagues. So he's a for sure starter against Houston, but as I said, though, J.J. Watt, he's an interception and pick TD machine, so be cautious about that. Otherwise, I have lots of faith in Tony Romo. Mm-hmm. And also, in running backs, Matt Asiata is making his presence felt. He ran for 78 rushing yards, 3 rushing touchdowns, and 22 receiving yards for a total of 28 points. That is a huge impact.
Wow. Okay, and the people that I had Steve Smith. Steve Smith Sr., I should say. The boy balled out. I mean, what can I say? He said he did what he said he was going to do. He faced the Carolina Panthers, went off for 139 receiving yards, and had 2 receiving touchdowns. Now, from a fantasy perspective, he's been doing what wasn't expected to do, I should say. For the last 3 out of 4 games, he scored in double digits.
Yeah.
Another guy I want to talk about is Larry Donnell. Now, from week 1, I knew he was going to be something special. This game, he posted 54 receiving yards with not 1, not 2, but 3 touchdowns. You can't go wrong with that.
And the thing is, Larry Donnell, he's a sleeper, so not many people expected that. That's the thing with New York, with the New York Giants. They got a bunch of new receiving and running back core, so they're definitely watch out for them.
And now we'll be right back. Give us 5 seconds to talk about disappointments.
Okay, Steve, how'd you make about your performance today?
That I'll give you a one-liner. That film was a coaching session. They gonna be coaching. I'm 35 years old and I ran around them boys like they were schoolyard kids.
Okay.
Hello and welcome back to Fantasy Island. Now we're going to talk about people that disappointed us.
All right, first off, it's number 1, Calvin Johnson. Now, I love Calvin and I respect him, but he's been underperforming these past 2 weeks, giving fantasy owners below 10 points, which is not what anybody expected. We were expected for Calvin to shred New York Jets secondary, but that didn't happen, and he was limited, and he was just used as a decoy. It's not very good, and there was also concerns of his knees, which is not very good for fantasy owners. So if I were you guys, I would bench him.
Go get Golden Tate.
Whoo!
Now, for me, I have Kirk Cousins. I was so high on him last week. He just disappointed me. He had 5.48 fantasy points. That's not enough.
Yep.
He threw for 257 yards and a touchdown, but he didn't just have 1. Not 2. Not 3, but 4 interceptions. That just won't cut it. And not only that, he also has to play the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, that's not going to be good for any quarterback at all. The way Seattle played against the Broncos, they made Peyton Manning look like an average quarterback. So that's going to be even tough for Kirk Cousins.
Now, speaking of quarterbacks, E.J. Manuel is officially not the starting quarterback in Buffalo.
That's right. He got benched for Kyle Orton. The Kyle Orton that benched for Tim Tebow, and the Kyle Orton that was supposed to lead Dallas to postseason last year. But I don't get it. Why would they bench E.J.?
Do you feel like he can do anything for somebody's fantasy team?
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Okay, now, moving on. What about Teddy Bridgewater?
Teddy B, man, he is impressive. He reminds me of Warren Moon. Hall of Famer Warren Moon. He reminds me of him big time. Even though he had a little ankle sprain going on, I have a feeling he'll get better from that, and he'll lead Minnesota to a new era.
I agree. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. This is Fantasy Island. I'm your host, Keenan Wright. Thanks so much, Frank, for coming in. I appreciate everything.